Greetings. I'm in Brunswick, Georgia, in front of the Glenn County Sheriff's Office. I just left the detention center where Zack Lyde is being held without bond for aggravated assault. And I'm asking you to go to Google and type in Zack Lyde arrest in Brunswick. Read the article that the newspaper wrote concerning him striking a homeless man. Read the article the best that you can. I read it and I figured that something just didn't add up. And so you know me, I journeyed over here to Brunswick on behalf of the people, because that's what I do. I don't want to be long, but I do want to be strong. After talking to Zack for the last 15, 20, 25 minutes, what the newspaper reported, not to down the newspaper, but apparently they did not interview Zack Lyde nor some of the witnesses that was there on the scene.
Used under fair use. Brunswick News article, not the Ghetto Free Press. Vacant church owner arrested for assaulting homeless person. Michael Hall, The Brunswick News, Georgia. June 20th, 2023 at 5:17 a.m., 2-minute read. June 20th, the owner of a vacant church being used as a makeshift homeless shelter was arrested Friday evening for allegedly beating a homeless man with his cane at the shelter. Zack Lyde, 83, a Brunswick pastor, was charged with aggravated assault for allegedly hitting a man multiple times with his cane at a tent shelter set up in the parking lot of the vacant church building he owns at Gordon and G Streets. A short report of the incident said the men were arguing prior to the assault, but it did not say about what. The victim was transported to the local hospital for treatment, a city police report said. Lyde remained in the Glenn County Detention Center on Monday, where he is being held without bond. It is Lyde's second arrest since allowing the Reverend Leonard Small of Savannah to set up the tent shelter at 1803 G Street outside the church building Lyde owns that had not been used in years. On May 17th, Lyde was arrested for misdemeanor battery for allegedly striking a homeless man on the head with his cane, causing the man's head to swell where he was hit, according to a police report. The men were arguing over Bible scripture, police said. Lyde's bond in that case was set at $1,256. The tent shelter opened in late April, a few days after the a day service center for the homeless on Gloucester Street in downtown Brunswick was closed by the City Commission for 65 days. The commission voted to approve the closure following a string of assaults police associated with the Lyde and Small said at the time that they were forced to provide shelter for homeless people because the city closed the They said it was their mission to help those in need. The church building did not meet city codes and the shelter was not permitted under the city's new, more stringent homeless shelter ordinance. City code enforcement declared the building unfit for occupancy and boarded it up. Lyde and Small then erected the tent that sits in the parking lot today, where Lyde's alleged assault and battery occurred. Small, whose ministry is operating the shelter, was cited by city code enforcement and is set to appear in municipal court on June 28 at 9:30 a.m. And article is not the Ghetto Free Press, but used here under fair use to help inform and educate the general public. G.B.R. Michael Hall, The Brunswick News, Georgia, June 20th, 2023.
If I had 100 sheep and one of them got away, I would leave the 99 and go find that one. That's right. Look from the locks and jaws of Satan, I come creating, penetrating with force from the land of the lost and coming. Like Muhammad got the devil on the run, rising like the sun. Keep your eyes on the one, look on base. Here to bring forth a reborn nation, up against the norm, creating a new formation. This foundation that I be standing on is firm. Look, y'all, we must learn. Oh, as a people, we gon' burn in the fire. Let's join hands with the Messiah. The Lamb be Lyde. For real, I ain't no liar. My deepest desire be to resurrect the carcass. Breathe like venom. Then squeeze out all the venom with momentum and skill. We'll kill Satan at will. You and I be connected, protected by Ezekiel's will. For real, I can sense a mental explosion. On the move as God's chosen. Proceeding in motion, we become. Yes, indeed, the parts are forming. Running about of her, cause Babylon is falling. Living all in the midst of devilish anguish. His aim is to kill us all with this language. He's the mischief maker. Plus he's wicked by nature, the modern mind shaper. So hey, will Jacob wake up the lion? Where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him. Bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace. The violence of this beast must cease. Look out, I see a lion. Where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him. Bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace. The violence of this beast must cease. Now look, for 4 days, he's been sleeping in the tomb. Fed like the zoom, no light, it's like the moon. His blood be maroon, plus it covers the earth. Crucified daily, and waiting this new birth. For real, the truth hurts the wicked evil doer. He knows that the future will bring a new ruler. So look, don't let him fool you with his maneuvers and wisdom. Seeking, you'll find that he uses symbolism with this rhythm. Black will represent the hesitant brains. Hit the water down the flames and sort out the remains. Everything must change, nothing stays the same. Our struggle's been ordained, so just chill, maintain. I know it's strange, but look, one came to raise us up. Farad has arrived, beware, don't self-destruct, keep the focus.
Greetings. I'm in Brunswick, Georgia, in front of the Glenn County Sheriff's Office. I just left the detention center where Zack Lyde is being held without bond for aggravated assault. And I'm asking you to go to Google and type in Zack Lyde arrest in Brunswick. Read the article that the newspaper wrote concerning him striking a homeless man. Read the article the best that you can. I read it and I figured that something just didn't add up. And so you know me, I journeyed over here to Brunswick on behalf of the people, because that's what I do. I don't want to be long, but I do want to be strong. After talking to Zack for the last 15, 20, 25 minutes, what the newspaper reported, not to down the newspaper, but apparently they did not interview Zack Lyde nor some of the witnesses that was there on the scene. And all I'm going to say today is that Zack Lyde believed that this particular arrest concerning the homeless and the needy and feeding them at this church not really a church, because the city gave them 65 days to shut the church down, and they did. So they put up a tent, and they had some problem with that. I understand, but I'm not going to get into that. What I want to say today before I close is that when you read the Brunswick newspaper, there is more than just striking an alleged man with a stick. Zack said that it may not even be a man, or it may not be a woman. But none of that came out, I don't think. Zack gave me a lot of information, and I just wondered why so much of it was not in the article. I'm going to say to you that people are asking a question: how could it be that aggravated assault and no bond, is there not a law that says 72 hours? It should have had a bond hearing. I was informed by the president of Justice League United, who is also running for the state NAACP conference president, that if he was here, that he would take some action, because he said he believed that's outside of the law. What I found out this morning is that this is much bigger than Zack Lyde. It's much bigger than the organization that he's been working with. This arrest seemed to be about relocating poor people from one part of town to God knows where else. So the big shots and those who are in the clique and among the slicks can eventually get some land, I understand. I can't talk about that, but I'm going to say this. You all know me. We're going to look into it. There are already community leaders that have called me and verified the same identical problems as Zack told me about a few minutes ago. Now, do you know aggravated assault? What I understand, he's in isolation. They did not give him any books, pencil, and he still don't have any paper to write on. Anybody that knows Zack, Zack is a learned man. Zack is a person that reads. Zack is a man who studies the law. Zack is a man who's been standing up for decades for the same people he put that tent up to help, until he was arrested on June the 16th, I think it was, for striking this homeless man, I guess, with a stick, or his cane. I'm not going to get into it, but according to Zack, there was a whole lot more that took place before that stick made contact with that individual. I could say what Zack told me, but I'm not going to say it, because I believe that if there's any justice in the state of Georgia, they need to possibly look into why he was arrested, and they might need to look at why the person that called the police went back up to the tent, and why nobody told him not to go back up to the tent. I'm getting a little, I don't want to get into any of that. I just want to talk to you all about Zack Lyde is an honorable man. He is not afraid. He's not a Sambo. He's not an Uncle Tom. He stand his ground. He called out black people who have sold out black people. He's been doing it for decades. He's in jail on his 84th birthday, and today just happens to be his birthday, and he's incarcerated in Glenn County, detention center and don't even have paper to write on, he just told me. He said he was given 2 books. He read one and halfway through the other one. That's the Zack we all know. Zack is 1 in a million. I've been knowing Zack a long time. So I want you all to call the organizations who come to the aid of freedom fighters and do and investigate this situation. I don't know the situation yet. I could say a whole lot more, but I don't think it's appropriate to say it until this ball rolls a little further down the road. I want you to know that Zack Lyde suffer from that ailment that a lot of GIs, PTSD, and I understand there was an explosion in back of his house, and that's definitely did something to Zack. I don't want to get into that. But there's a whole lot more to the arrest of Zack Lyde that may reach up to those elected officials that you put in office. It may be concerning the direction that some want the city to go into at the expense of the poor and the homeless and the needy. I'm not going to talk about that, but I want to leave you by saying this as I leave. Expect more than what has been published in the Brunswick newspaper. And when Zack get out, I'm sure his attorney going to allow him to do an interview with some news agency or social media journalist so he can tell the rest of the story. And just maybe some of the people that know the truth will be able to help the general public understand why Zack Lyde have been arrested, not only this time, but other times. And I say again that I'm George Boston Ryan with the Get To Free Press, and I report what others ignore. God bless, and above God blessing, let us be a blessing to each other. And when a man or woman, boy or girl, stand up for what is right, we need to stand up with them, regardless of their denomination, regardless of their political persuasion, regardless of their skin color. It's not about skin color. It's about right, wrong, justice, and injustice. And y'all have a nice day. I came over here because this is what I do. And this is only the beginning. When I get back and have time to decipher what I've recorded here, I will give you as much as I can, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. I'm asking you, don't just pray for Zack. Support Zack. He need money on the books. Let's get some money on the books. The Ghetto Free Press, George Boston Ryan. I'm doing what I do because I love you just as much. Bye-bye. We go.
Romans 8:7 says, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. To God be the glory. Lord, I'm asking you to fill this place. My life